All right, so today we're gonna take a deep dive into this new strategy that the Democrats are trying out.
Okay.
And it's pretty fascinating how they're trying to hold former President Trump accountable for all these unfulfilled campaign promises. But specifically, those promises that were aimed at American workers.
Right.
So they're basically turning those old pledges into new legislation.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's really clever.
Yeah, I mean, that could put Republicans in a tough spot.
Definitely. And the thing is,
yeah,
they're focusing on stuff that's very relatable.
Right.
You know, it's not just abstract policy debates. It's like everyday life issues.
Exactly. Things that people experience in their daily lives.
Yeah, like, for example, one of the promises they're focusing on is eliminating taxes on tips.
Oh, wow.
And, you know, think about how many people rely on tips as a significant part of their income.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very tangible issue that resonates with a large segment of the workforce.
For sure. And then there's that proposal to cap credit card interest rates at 10%.
Here.
You know, credit card debt is a major burden for so many Americans. So that kind of policy could provide some real relief.
Yeah, and then, you know, we can't forget about you know, the fear of automation.
Oh yeah, that's a big one.
And its impact on jobs.
Especially union jobs.
Exactly. And that's something that's been growing for years. And the Democrats are addressing it head on with this new legislation.
It's smart because by putting those bills forth, they're essentially forcing Republicans to make a choice.
Right.
Either they support these policies that could benefit a large number of working class Americans.
Many of whom are part of Trump's base.
Exactly. Or they oppose them and risk alienating those voters.
Yeah. So it's a strategic maneuver.
Very much so.
And one of the key battlegrounds where this is playing out is the H1B visa program.
Okay.
And, you know, this program allows companies to hire foreign workers for specialty occupations.
Right.
And it's been a source of debate for years.
Yeah. I mean, the core argument is whether this program genuinely addresses a shortage of skilled workers in the U.S.
Right.
Or if it's just a way for companies to hire cheaper labor and potentially displace American workers.
Yeah, there are valid points on both sides.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a complex issue.
Yeah, and the Democrats are really framing this as a billionaires versus workers issue.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and in fact, one of our sources directly states that the program benefits billionaires while hurting American workers.
That's a powerful narrative.
Yeah, and it really taps into that sentiment of economic inequality.
For sure.
And the Democrats are basically positioning themselves as the champions of the working class, fighting against a system that favors the wealthy and powerful.
Right.
So what kind of reforms are they actually proposing?
Well, one of the key proposals is to raise the minimum wage thresholds for guest workers.
Okay.
So that would make it less financially attractive for companies to hire them over American workers. And another proposal is focused on giving guest workers more flexibility to switch jobs.
Okay.
So that could reduce their dependence on a single employer and give them more negotiating power.
So it seems like they're trying to strike a balance.
Yeah.
You know, address the concerns about job displacement for American workers, but also ensure fair treatment for the foreign workers that are already here.
Exactly. Trying to create a system that benefits both while holding companies accountable.
Right. It's a delicate balance.
Yeah, it is.
And this kind of leads us to another interesting point.
Okay.
The role of Elon Musk.
Oh, yeah.
In this whole debate. And, you know, his recent statement about American workers lacking the necessary skills has become a focal point for the Democrats.
Especially when you consider that companies like Tesla, which Musk leads, have been laying off American workers while also advocating for the H1B visa program. It seems hypocritical, and the Democrats are capitalizing on that.
Totally. It feeds into that narrative of corporate greed, you know, companies putting profits over people.
Right.
And that resonates with people who feel like the system is rigged against them.
Absolutely. And it's not just about attacking Musk or Tesla.
Right.
It's about highlighting a broader trend that the Democrats are trying to address with this strategy.
So this isn't just about going after Trump.
Right. It's bigger than.
It's about presenting a different vision
Exactly.
for the American economy.
Yeah.
So Are we seeing a return to economic populism?
Potentially.
For the Democrats?
Yeah.
A genuine shift towards policies that prioritize workers?
It's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is this a real ideological shift or just a clever tactic to win back voters?
Yeah. It's too early to say for sure, but the potential implications are huge.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if this is a genuine move towards economic populism, it could really reshape the political landscape.
It's a big if, though, right?
Yeah.
And it brings us to the big question. Can this strategy actually work?
Yeah, will it resonate with voters beyond just, the Democratic base?
Right, and I think that's the real challenge for them.
Yeah.
They have to convince voters that they're not just offering empty promises.
Yeah, or just, attacking the opposition.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They need to actually show that they have a plan to fix these problems.
Right, it's one thing to point out problems, it's another to offer real solutions.
Totally. Voters are going to want to see concrete results, not just talk.
Exactly. They need to turn these proposals into tangible benefits for people.
If they want to keep this momentum going. And they also need to stay focused, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's easy to get sidetracked with all the drama of politics, but they need to keep their eye on the ball.
Stay on message.
Yeah, and consistently champion these economic issues.
Otherwise, it's going to look opportunistic.
Right. Like, they're not sincere.
Voters can see right through that.
Yeah, and we can't forget about all the legislative hurdles.
Oh, yeah. I mean, even if these proposals are popular, getting them passed in a divided Congress is going to be tough.
Yeah, they're going to have to build coalitions and compromise and just navigate that whole legislative process.
And a long game.
For sure.
And it won't be easy.
But the potential rewards are huge.
Yeah.
If they can pull this off, it could really shift the political landscape in their favor.
Absolutely.
And one thing that I've been thinking about,
yeah,
it's not just about winning elections.
Yeah.
This strategy could actually reshape the whole political discourse.
I think you're right. They're tapping into this deep well of anxiety and frustration.
That's everywhere.
Yeah, that exists across party lines.
Yeah, so many Americans feel like the system is rigged against them.
Right.
And they're looking for someone to fight for them.
Yeah, it's a sentiment that goes beyond, just Democrats or Republicans.
Exactly. The concerns about job security and wages and cost of living.
It affects everyone.
People of all political persuasions are feeling this.
So by addressing these concerns head on, the Democrats are trying to create a broader coalition.
That goes beyond their traditional base.
Exactly. They want to become the party of the working class.
Regardless of party affiliation.
It's a bold move.
It is.
We'll see if it works.
It's definitely a strategy worth watching.
Now, another interesting thing about this strategy is how they're reframing the debate around immigration.
Yeah.
By focusing on the potential exploitation of immigrant workers through programs like the H1B visa.
Yeah.
They're kind of shifting the conversation away from that typical us versus them narrative.
Right. So instead of pitting American workers against immigrant workers, they're emphasizing the shared interests of both groups.
They're arguing that both American and immigrant workers are being exploited by a system that prioritizes corporate profits over worker well-being.
Yeah, and that's a message that a lot of people can relate to, regardless of their stance on immigration.
It highlights the need for a more equitable system.
For all workers.
Exactly, regardless of where they were born.
And it really challenges those traditional arguments that are used to justify restrictive immigration policies.
By focusing on the economic realities, they're forcing a conversation about how to create a system that works for everyone.
This feels like a big shift.
Yeah.
It's not just about politics anymore.
It's about real issues.
Yeah, issues that impact the lives of millions of Americans.
And that brings us to maybe the most important question.
Okay.
What does all this mean for you, the listener?
Right. Why should anyone listening care about this new strategy from the Democrats?
Because it could have a real impact on your life, your job, your community.
Yeah.
I mean, if the Democrats are successful with this agenda, we could see big changes in things like wages, healthcare, education, job security.
This isn't just political talk.
No, it's real life stuff.
This affects your pocketbook, your opportunities, your future.
You need to pay attention, stay informed, and make your voice heard.
This is a moment where things could change.
Yeah.
And we all need to be part of the conversation.
Speak up and demand that our leaders actually prioritize the needs of working Americans.
This has been a fascinating deep dive.
It has.
Into the Democrats' new strategy.
Yeah.
They're really shaking things up.
Starting to reshape the political landscape.
And as we move forward, it's important to remember that this is an evolving story.
Absolutely. The political landscape is always changing.
Yeah. New challenges and opportunities will come up.
Yeah.
But one thing's clear, like this focus on economic populism and holding people accountable for their promises, it's something we got to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not just about watching. It's about engaging with the ideas, thinking about them.
Yeah.
What could happen, and making your voice heard.
So as we wrap this up,
yeah,
what's the big thing you want listeners to take away?
I think the big takeaway is we're at a really important moment in American politics right now. The Democrats are trying to shift things, trying to change the whole conversation, trying to reconnect with working class voters.
Yeah.
Whether they can do it, I don't know. We'll see. But the effects of this strategy could be huge.
Yeah. It's a really bold move.
It is.
And it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out.
Yeah.
How are Republicans going to respond? Is this actually going to lead to real benefits for workers?
Right.
These are questions we're going to keep looking at.
Absolutely.
As the story develops.
Yeah. And in the meantime, everyone listening, stay engaged, stay informed, and keep asking the tough questions. The future of politics is happening right now.
Right.
And we all have to be part of it.
Well, this has been a really fascinating look
at
this new strategy from the Democrats.
For sure.
And we're going to keep following this story.
Yeah.
And we'll be back soon with more analysis and insights.
Looking forward to it.
Until then, stay curious, stay informed, and stay engaged.